What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, happy to be making another video for you guys today. And if you know me over here, I love pocket pistols, I love single stacks, I love micro 9s, and I love subcompacts. Those are the sizes I carry. I do not carry above a subcompact. It's very rare for me. But today we're going to be talking about my favorite micro 9s, why I like them, and so on. Also what I consider a micro 9. Sorry, I had to grab something. We're going to talk about what it is that defines a micro 9 in my opinion and so on. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe, tell me what you carry today, what kind of holster, what kind of defensive ammo, and your thoughts on micro 9 as a whole, right? Let's get into it. I just want to start by saying there are a couple pistols that are automatically going to be disqualified from this, right? Some may call the Springfield Army Hellcat Pro a micro 9. It is not, because that is a dagger right there, compact, and the only difference is a little bit of width. Length is dang near, obviously barrel length is a little different. I think this is 3.7 inches, but the overall grip length is what we're talking about. So I also got to throw out the Masada Slim. I love this thing, but in my opinion, it's in between a micro 9 and a compact. So I don't even know what to call that at this point. Normally, because look at that grip length. So I consider this not necessarily being a micro 9. It's one of my favorite handguns to shoot, hands down. I absolutely love the Masada Slim. But in my opinion, not having the ability to shrink down to smaller mags for ease of concealment gets you taken out right out of the picture. But I love this handgun. Don't get me wrong, this would be up there if it wasn't, if they would have gave us a smaller mag right here, maybe 9 rounds or 10 rounds, and then gave us this. But it turned out like this. Great handgun. Nothing bad to say about it. Okay, let's get into it. So if you know this channel over here, you know my favorite automatically right out of the gate, Springfield Army Hellcat. And no, it's not because I added all these parts. I added those parts because you guys requested a build, so I did it. This is plain Jane. It's great right out of the box. Has a rail for one of the best light series in the world. Comes with awesome night sights with a U-notch rear. Very easy to shoot with those sights. You can get awesome colors, finishes, and so on, unlike a lot of Glocks. Even though Glocks, you find that every now and then. This is straight from the factory. Stainless steel, beautiful. I rarely carry this one because it does have the light on it. I do have a holster for it, but I'm rarely out at night, so I don't carry with a light. I have kids. I like being in bed early. It is what it is. But the Hellcat, 100% reliable through tens of thousands of rounds. Through all my Hellcats, through the Hellcat Pros. They have so many great features about them. Yes, they're a little snappy, but if you train with them, you can get really good with them. So Hellcat is my number one by far. Number two, the Shield Plus. You cannot beat the Shield Plus for its price. Also, just the Shield series being one of the most sold handguns of all time. You know it's going to work, you know it's going to run, and they added this beautiful, flawless self-defense trigger. Absolutely great, so easy to shoot. Awesome texturing. They finally got the texturing perfect on the Shield Plus, in my opinion. I just threw on a little texturing right here for the memory pad. It's just a part of a grip. This one does come with a manual safety, so I got it for $375. How can you argue with the reliability, capacity, and still how thin it is? Now, this loses the battle in capacity to a lot of these handguns. For instance, the P365, in this case, has 12 rounds. Look at that. 13 on the left. So you can see where it loses, but look how thin that thing is. I love how they kept it really, really thin. So that was really nice. The Shield Plus is one of the greatest handguns on the market right now. So after that is where it gets a bit difficult for me. But I think that I absolutely have to go with the FN Reflex. Man, is this a great handgun. I've actually been carrying this a lot lately. It's been in my carry rotation. The one downside to this versus my FN Reflex, my FN 503, is the reflex finish on this FDE is a little rough. I've carried this, but not enough, in my opinion, for it to look like this. And it's getting beat up, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of carrying, that's part of shooting, but it's just getting beat up. And there's nothing wrong with that because it runs 100% reliable. It's very similar to the Hellcat. It is hammer fired, though. Has a little bit longer of a barrel, but obviously the grip looks very similar to the Hellcat in the way it's shaped. Feels really good in the hand. The trigger's on point. You just got to take some time to learn it. The sights are great. People always ask me, oh yeah, that's a tritium front, if you're wondering. Rail. People always ask me, is your FN Reflex accurate? And a lot of times accuracy is simply within the person who's shooting it. But at the same time, while shooting this, mine's been great. I've had really good luck with the Reflex. No issues with the sights, nothing like that. It just runs, and it's very accurate. It's a very smooth shooter. Absolutely love it. I'll show you the trigger actually real quick if you guys want to see that. I mean, super crisp. It's actually pretty dang light. Longer reset, which I don't mind because it's so light and crisp. It's a great handgun. I recommend the FN Reflex to anybody. I recommend FN products to everybody. They're just great. From there, this may surprise you guys, but since my Canic's been running flawlessly, it's got to be my Canic. It's just a awesome handgun. I like how it's a little bit bigger than all the other Micro 9s, but it's a little bit smaller than my Glock 26 and my subcompacts. I think it's like a sweet spot for a handgun for me. It just tends to fit my hands really well. Feels really good in the hand. You still have the ability to go into larger mags. Like I said about all these, they all have the ability to take larger mags, which is awesome. Because when you want to shrink down for more concealment, you can. You can never... Here's the thing. I always tell people, when you have a Glock 19, you can never shrink it down to Glock 26 size. But when you have a Glock 26, you can always upgrade the capacity to the Glock 26 without losing the shootability. And I love that. So that is why these are the Micro 9s. But the Canic, awesome trigger, awesome ergonomics, awesome package right out of the box. Crappy optic, it is what it is. But just a great shooter. I absolutely love this thing. It disappointed me at first, but now this is actually going in my carry rotation once I hit another 750 rounds. So once I hit another 750 rounds with 0 issues, this will be back in my carry rotation in my Blacksmith Tactical holster. It just left something to be desired with the issues. Like, I really love the handgun. It's such a great shooter. Feels so good to me, but I just couldn't get myself to carry it because of all the issues I was having, obviously. I'm not going to carry it like that. So right now, I'm extremely happy. I do recommend the Canic to almost anybody. After that, it's not like any of these are bad. They're all great. But I'm going to go Smith & Wesson CSX. I know it got a lot of hate, but it's hate from people who shoot 1911s with these crazy triggers, right? This is a Micro 9. They know people are going to be pocket carrying it. It's a smaller handgun, stuff like that. I think they went the safe route with the trigger, even though you can have it cocked and locked. So they made the trigger a little different, but in my opinion, the trigger's great. You just don't shoot to reset like a normal handgun. You just let it out. Look at that. You just let it out. I can mag dump this handgun right here in about 2.5 seconds, but as you can see, I just short stroked it. And that is the main issue that people are having, right? Because it feels like another reset. But when you're in the zone and shooting with this thing, it's actually a really good shooter, really good handgun. Like I said, you can run it cocked and locked, but that trigger, I love it. So CSX, and on top of that, it can't hurt that it's been 100% reliable. Next up, I'm going to have to go with the Mossberg MC2SC. I just think it feels really good in the hand. The safety, you don't have to use it. It was cheaper because of the safety. The sights are pretty good. The finish is a little bit... it shows the scratches a lot, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's everyday carry. You have a rail, but I'm not even sure what I could really put on this thing that you would be able to find a holster for, because holster availability for this is very limited. Awesome memory pads though. Awesome grip texturing. Right here, 11+1 setup in the size of a Glock 43. Absolutely love this thing. Optics ready for all of them nowadays. I don't like the takedown of it, but I can get around that, so it's not a big deal for me. Love the Mossberg MC2SC. Like I said, I love all these handguns. I have nothing against any of them as long as they run. Next up, oh no, I might get in trouble for this one. Dang, that's tough. Shoot, I gotta do it. Taurus GX4, I gotta be honest with you guys. I like the GX4. It is what it is. I like it. It's a great handgun. I know many people with thousands of rounds to their GX4s without a single issue. And since I got mine back from Taurus, which I sent it away within the first couple days of getting it, since I got it back, which is years ago, I have thousands of rounds for both my GX4s, not a single issue. And the best part about this handgun, it is unloaded, they all are, is that trigger. The trigger is just perfect. I always tell people, if they made this with a better finish, in my opinion, and just a little bit more quality in it, in my opinion, this would be at the top of the list. But I always worry about budget firearms, but at the same time, this thing has given me nothing to worry about with all the use I've put through it. It just, high round counts make me nervous. Like, what if you get to 10,000 rounds and their parts start slowly breaking down on, like, you know, like a Glock or whatever, and then I need this for self-defense. So I always worry. I know my Glocks are going to run tens of thousands of rounds as long as I clean them. I know my Hellcats are going to run tens of thousands of rounds. I'm still a little bit nervous about running budget firearms tens of thousands of rounds, unless it is the CZ P10M. I mean, that's a budget firearm that didn't start off as necessarily a budget firearm completely. Last but definitely not least, because it's sort of funny, the order I keep these in, but this is the one that created all these, which you could say the Cal-Tech created the double stack mag or the stack and a half for micro 9s, but the P365 really revolutionized it. So it's sort of funny I put it last. And it's just, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It gave me a lot of issues when I first got it. Sent it to my personal gunsmith. He fixed it. Haven't had any issues since. It's ergonomic. It's a great shooter. I have nothing against it. And you guys wanted to see a build, so this is actually the build I've been working on. Wilson Combat Grip, base plate, Tyrant CNC, mag release, which works like a charm, Zafari Precision, stainless steel threaded barrel. And I will be adding my Combat Armory stainless steel trigger to match it, so it'll be a really nice build. But I absolutely love my Sig P365s. I just don't trust them enough for carry, but I'm working on building an awesome build that really has everything I want in it. One of the downfalls for me is I pocket carry a lot, so stuff that rusts I don't want in my pocket. I hate dealing with it. And on top of that, it's just a pain. It makes you wonder about the internals. Are my internals going to rust? Like, what is going on here? So I tend to carry firearms that I've never had issues with, regardless of that Meta MC9. I've really been testing that thing, and it's yet to be in my carry rotation. But Sig P365 is the one that started it all, you can say, technically, and I love it. So that's my micro 9s ranked. You may disagree. It's just my personal opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.